The formation of precipitation. Factors that determine precipitation are climate, geography, and ocean surface, which is the main source of moisture. Most precipitation begins as snow crystals. Rain. What causes rain? When water droplets get too heavy and can no longer suspend in the clouds, causing the droplets to fall to the surface. What is rain? Rain is a frozen precipitation that melts and falls to the Earth's surface. Where does rain come from? Rain generally comes from cumulonimbus clouds and is a liquid. How often it rains can vary depending on where you live. Snow. What causes snow? When the atmospheric temperature drops below freezing, which is 32 degrees, and tiny ice crystals stick together and become heavy enough to fall. What is snow? A six-sided crystal that can vary in size, known as snowflakes, that can accumulate on the surface very fast. Where does snow come from? Snow is produced in very cooled nimbostratus clouds and is a solid. Snow is present in the winter months where it would get cold enough in most places. Sleet. What causes sleet? To understand how sleet forms, it helps to know how snow forms. Under these conditions, when the falling snow reaches the layer of warm air, it melts. Then it hits the layer of cold air just above Earth's surface and refreezes. What is sleet? Frozen precipitation that turned to rain then refreezes on the surface, making a thin blanket of small ice crystals. Where does sleet come from? Sleet comes from the same clouds as snow and starts as a liquid but quickly turns to a solid once hitting the ground. Hail. What causes hail? When there is a strong upward of air mixed with thunderstorms, hail begins as water droplets, but turns to ice particles and is super cold before reaching the surface, causing the droplets to turn to ice. What is hail? Layers of water attached and frozen in groups of a variety of sizes, forming a ball-like shape. Where does hail come from? Hail comes from cumulonimbus clouds and is a solid. It can happen very fast and most of the time stays for only a short period of time, but can do much damage. And on the side, there is a hail size chart that tells you the inches and what they compare them to. Now we're going to talk about air mass. What is an air mass? It is a large body of air that can cover hundreds or even up to thousands of square kilometers. The air and temperature in that space is pretty much the same all throughout. How are air masses classified? Classified according to temperature and moisture of their source regions. Continental is dry, maritime is wet, polar is cold, tropical is warm, and Arctic is frigid. And these are classified into two groups: source regions, which is maritime and continental, and thermal types, which is tropical, polar, and Arctic. Tornadoes in Oklahoma. Why is Oklahoma susceptible to tornadoes? Oklahoma is a perfect spot for the formation of tornadoes to happen because of the meeting of warm, moist air coming from the Gulf and the cold air coming from Canada, which is one of the main keys to the formation of a tornado. This is the ideal environment for tornadoes, which is why Oklahoma is considered Tornado Alley. Why is the lifting of air important? It is the key process in creation of clouds and precipitation, and it provides water to places that could not go without. Frontal lifting. When less dense air is forced to rise over cool, denser air, like jumping into a cold lake and shocking your system, a cold front shocks warm air upward very quickly. More common in the winter months, and since the warm air is slowly lifted over the cold air, it creates less dramatic weather changes. Convergent lifting. When winds flow together from opposite directions near the surface and is pushed upwards to do compression or squeezing together. This causes an updraft that keeps cloud particles suspended regardless of gravity.